first thing is that people think that they can come to a medium and that they can just go and talk to whoever they want. Like, for example, I don't want to comment on how other mediums do their readings, but like, for example, there was this one person who came to me who said that that Elvis was their spirit guide, and that they went to a medium and that, they said that Elvis was their spirit guide, and Elvis was like, they have all these conversations with Elvis. And I'm like, well, I did the reading. I did not see Elvis around this person, and I think that some people think that when you go to me, because there's some people who actually come to me and they're like, I want to talk to Marilyn Monroe, or I want to talk to Frank Sinatra. I want to talk to this person. And the truth is that you have to have a connection with that person. They had to make a reading happen, right? There has to be a couple of different factors. One, you have to have a connection with that person. Two, that person has to have a message for you. And three, that person has to come through. So what's really the biggest misconception about being a medium is I think people come to a medium to connect with their loved one on the other side. They come to speak to their loved one directly. But really what's going on behind the scenes is that when you come to a medium, there's actually souls there that want to talk to you. And it might not be the person that you want to hear from, right? Or the person that you're expecting to hear from. And I think that's what throws people for a loop, is that, people will come in and a lot of times they'll think, well, Matt, can't you just call this soul, or can't you just bring this soul through? And it doesn't work like that. And I would never lie to somebody. I would never lie and tell somebody your loved one is here, or that your loved one is telling me this when they're not. I couldn't do that to somebody. And some people love me for that, and some people, hate me for it.
Do you have a celebrity that people request more than all? Do people come and say, hey, I want to talk to so-and-so?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. I mean, a lot of people want to talk to like the old celebrities, like the biggest greats. Like, for example, Frank Sinatra and Marilyn Monroe are, the top two that people always ask, oh, can you check on? And one person asked about like Michael Jackson, but like I said, souls come through to help better our lives. I kind of think in my mind, I understand that they just don't understand how the process works, or maybe some people have told me they've been to medium readings where they've had that experience. I don't know how, but the thing is that I kind of question to myself, like, what would that soul even say? You know what I mean? Like, if Michael Jackson did come through to you, what would he say? Like, thank you for being my fan. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of silly when you think about it, because souls have a much bigger purpose. They come through. The main reason why they come through is to heal, right? That's the reason why they come through to us. Your grandmother's, if you had a peaceful passing with your grandmother, and your grandmother loved life, you spent every moment with her, she passed away on the couch, surrounded by her friends and her family, you got to say goodbye, you hugged her right before her death, chances are she doesn't have anything to say to you in the afterlife. But if you had a stepfather who you were really close with within life, and then there was a family fight that had happened, and the two of you had gone separate ways, and all of a sudden you found out that he died and you never got to say goodbye, it was kept from you, that's the soul that's going to come through to speak, because that's the soul that you have unfinished business with. And chances are that's the soul that's going to help you to heal. Because when we lose a loved one, right, and when we don't have answers, there's one thing that happens, and that is that they leave us with inner pain. And sometimes the only way that we can heal that pain is by being back in touch with that loved one on the other side. And I think that's why so many people come to me as a medium, is to resolve what they couldn't resolve here in this world, because there's no way to, because the person's passed.
That makes a lot of sense. And yes, I guess if you want your meet and greet fan moment with Michael Jackson, it's probably not going to happen in a reading.
Well, not in a reading, but in the afterlife, will you see him? Yes, heaven is one place. So, you'll definitely see him in the afterlife. But will he come here to guide you, or to give you, advice on your career, whatever it is? Probably not. Chances are not, unless he knew you here in this world, or you had a direct connection with him.
What do you say to all those like naysayers who, just can't wrap their head around it? Oh, it's fake. Come on. Like, how can you, they don't understand. Right. So I think a lot of times, like, if you don't understand something, you don't believe it. Right.
Well, I don't think that's the truth, because, I don't know how the hell my TV set works, but it works. I don't know how the Zoom works, how we can like Zoom all over the country, but yet it works and I'm using it. But I think that I love the skeptical ones. And I love, the naysayers, because, it's those people who come in to, especially the first thing I have to say is that if you're a skeptic or a non-believer, come to an event, just try it. Because how many times do people bring their husbands? I shouldn't say bring their husbands, drag their husbands. It's always the men that don't want to believe. I don't know why, right? So how many people will drag their husbands or drag their brother or drag their friends, and they're like, okay, I'm just going for my wife, or I'm just going for my friend, or I'm just going because this person, is bringing me, or this person had an extra ticket, right? And it's a night out, and they end up getting a reading. And I think those are the best readings. I mean, if you can see it on my YouTube page, you can see it on my TikTok accounts that, the readings where skeptics get a reading can be so transformative and so healing for so many of us, because of the fact that these were people who, a lot of them, walked into the event not believing that their loved ones were with them. And how sad is that? Like, I feel really bad for the people who are out there that actually believe that your loved ones are nowhere to be found. Like, I got to be honest with you. If I did not know that my loved ones were with me every day, if I did not know that there was another life after this, I wouldn't be able to live life here in this world. I'm going to tell you that right now. I wouldn't be the happy person that I am. I wouldn't be the positive person that I am. I mean, you have to know, in my mind anyways, that there is another life to this, or else why would we be here?
Yeah, exactly. And those skeptics you mentioned, like at your live shows, I've seen the videos. Those guys are the first ones that are like literally in tears. They are literally sobbing worse than the women, just to like because I think they don't believe, and then they do, and they're like, oh, this is real.
It's actually funny. There's one on my TikTok page right now. It's up to 1.7 million views, right? So it's like one of the first ones where the skeptic got a reading. And it was funny because, like, during the reading, he was there for his family, he wasn't there for himself, and I think he was there for his wife. And literally during the reading, he like tried to hand the microphone back. Like, he did not want, like, when I started channeling his brother, I guess it got like too deep for him, and I saw him like all of a sudden he was handing the microphone like back down the aisle, like, I'm done. I'm like, wait a minute, sir, you can't be done. Like, your brother's coming through now. Like, you gotta ride this out. And it was so funny because I think it was just like such a real moment that he was this big tough guy that like looked like he was gonna, like, he could have like killed me or swallowed me, like, it's in excuse me, that he could have just why am I losing my train of thought today? He looked like he could have literally eaten me in one gulp, right? But then all of a sudden his brother came through and he was crying and laughing and just so overwhelmed by the moment.
It was a real moment. What can people expect as they watch the Frasers Plus One for everyone who has not started this new season?
Well, I think that it shows the behind the scenes of what really goes on in my life, because everybody sees, the readings that I do, whether it be on YouTube or on TikTok or, on television. And I think that people think that, being a medium, that I must live like this spooky life. But really, for me, I feel like I'm a normal person, just the fact that I see and hear the departed. So, this gives viewers a behind the scenes look into our life every day when I'm not reading. And I've realized through the pandemic as well that people have loved seeing that. It's instead of just going on and giving readings and, helping people connect, I think that people have really wanted to know more about me and my family and what makes us us. And I love that. One of the best things is being able to share that those personal moments with everybody online and through TV, and welcome them into your home, because my Facebook fans and followers are not just fans and followers. They literally have been like family to us. And, my mom is always, we're Italian, and she's always told me, treat everybody like family. And that's just exactly what we do. And I am so happy to invite everybody back in.
Well, your mother is a part of this show, Alexa. Like, does your extended family, like your sister-in-law, do they like the cameras around too?
Yeah, they didn't at first. They didn't at first, but now they've kind of gotten used to it. It's actually funny because when we first started filming, they were all freaked out by it, right? Because you can't even have a private conversation without a camera there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's how I feel every day with the dead. Like, I'm followed by dead people. Like, you're followed by cameras. It's the same thing. But they've, after Meet the Frasers aired and they saw how many people have just like, loved us and loved the shows, and have just been such a great support system to us, they were really excited to do this a second time.
Wow. As we wind down, then we could wrap up. Like, I'm sitting here with one of the top psychic mediums in the world. Like, have you felt any presence here with me?
Absolutely. I was hoping that you would ask. So first of all, I got to tell you, you actually have a lot of people that are with you. First of all, you have a grandmother here that was really close with you that had passed. She was like your mom when I'm connecting. because she tells me that you literally like grew up with her. Like she shows me that she helped raise you. Is that true?
Yeah, it
And
is
she
true.
says to me, she goes, Matt, she goes, he was like my son. And she showed me like all these visions, because souls will show me visions of what life was like back in the day. And she literally shows me that the one thing that she loved was you coming into her life, because you gave her this whole new chapter. And this woman lives life for you. She tells me that she didn't want to die. She didn't want to leave this world, that she fought as hard as she could because she wanted to be present in your life. And because of that, she is such a strong guardian angel around you every single day. And what's interesting is that she tells me she actually came to visit you in dreams. Have you gotten dreams of her?
Yeah.
Know that those are real. It's her way of letting you know that she's there. And also, what's the connection with the dogs? Like, were you always into like having dogs here? Because there's a bunch of dogs that are in spirit that are also around you.
I have a weird relationship with dogs where like they definitely like me a lot more than I might like them, but there are dogs that just flock to me wherever I go. It's
It's
like I
crazy. Wait
am
a minute. But did your grandmother have dogs here in the physical?